Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome to another opening night. This one, I haven't done one of these in a while. I think the last one, was it Star Wars, or was it Jumanji? I can't remember. I think, Sean, GT's Reborn did the last one, but, yeah, we're here to talk about, a movie that I actually just watched on Netflix, kind of cheating this time around, because there's not really any good movies I want to see, except for 1917, and when it eventually comes out, I do want to see Birds of Prey, because that actually is catching my eye. I only heard about it recently. But, yeah, today we're discussing a movie that a friend of mine had actually heavily requested me watching called Train to Busan. Now, the way this works, the story behind, watching this was, it took me forever to finally get off the ground, taking a look at, because I had a friend of mine, Lunachi Bunny, which, guys, she just started up her YouTube channel. She's getting her Patreon down, link down below. Go check out her content. She could really appreciate it. Please, all my subscribers, go check her out. Anybody who watches this, go check her out and subscribe. She could really use the help. But anyway, so, she suggested we watch Train to Busan, because she came out for the weekend. We did some shoots and everything, which was great. So, watched it for the first time, and this is one of her favorite films, I guess, because it's a zombie movie, and it was filmed it's a South Korean production, which is funny, because I haven't seen that many Korean films, aside from Ape and Pulgasari, which is North Korea, and that's a whole story in of itself. But anyway, so, I'm not very familiar with Korean productions. I know of Chinese productions like Cartoon Tiger, Hidden Dragon, one of my favorite films of all time, and a few other things. So, Train to Busan is about a zombie apocalypse, or a zombie epidemic, in South Korea, and this dad and his daughter get on a train that's heading directly to Busan, and it becomes a survival film. Essentially, snakes on a train. Not that piece of shit asylum film, but basically zombies on a train. That's the whole premise. Zombies on the island of Sodor. Oh, fuck. And by the way, I will get to a reaction, Thomas, at some point, but I want to wait a little bit and see if there's any other reaction videos I want to do at some point, but I do want to get back on those. So, Train to Busan. Now, I'm not that big into the zombie genre. I've seen Night of the Living Dead. I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead. Nick keeps asking me to talk about that one. I've seen, probably my favorite zombie movie is Peter Jackson's Brain Dead, because that is a fucked up movie beyond compare. But with Train to Busan, I was actually very surprised, because one, it's pretty much World War Z as well. It's not just it's not just zombies on a train, it's like World War Z, where all the zombies pile up and shit, and all the survival stuff happens. It also had a bit of I Am Legend into it, the Will Smith film. But the zombies and the gore and everything, it actually wasn't too graphic. That was my biggest concern. That's the reason I don't watch many zombie movies. I find the graphics to be very, yeah, they're great graphics, they're great special effects, but at the same time, they're very grotesque, and I do have a weak stomach when it comes to really gross stuff. I sat through the Jackass movies with my dad, and I never got popcorn for those because I knew I was going to throw up. So I have a very hard time digesting certain gross special effects. So, especially with Brain Dead. Brain Dead almost literally made me throw up, especially by the last third. But with Train to Busan, the violence was actually pretty tame. It's an R-rated film, but the violence is pretty tame. The zombies come off more as the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. The pale eyes and, and all that stuff. So it had a very Game of Thrones vibe to it. Which, by the way, we also watched the first episode of The Witcher, which I've never seen. So if you guys want me to talk about The Witcher, let me know. So, so the zombies in this, they're really good zombies. And every character who eventually is killed and bitten, it is really tragic to see what happens to each one of them. There's so many other characters aside from the daughter and the dad in this. You have things like, there's this business guy who's running the train, and basically, what Lunachi Bunny told me was, it's basically your Carl Denham character in your Kong remake, it's this guy. So I'm like, okay, and you know what? I can kind of see it as this kind of sleazeball, douchebag, coward who, basically is only thinking about himself. He pushes guys out of the way as, meat, as, bait to slow down the predators, and oh, what a great scumbag. I felt his comeuppance. It's one of those characters that you just want to see die. You're just every day, just die, 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 die. but he doesn't until the last act, and I love villains like that. In My Kong remake, I can totally see the comparisons. But he also, so basically it's Carl Denham meets Sir Topham Hatt. If Sir Topham Hatt was a douchebag, oh my god. So, he's a great villain, great guy to kind of root to die. There were some other characters. There was a baseball team that I was like, they were all cool and everything. It had a very Battle Royale vibe to it, and I love Battle Royale. Battle Royale's fantastic, especially with the tone and the characters. So, for me, it was very, tragic to see all these characters kind of go in and out and everything, and end up becoming, completely fucked in the head. Sorry, I'm just checking my text messages. So, there was that. There was the two old ladies that were really great, especially the one girl, old lady at the end. And I was just like, it's one of those times where you're like, go grandma, fuck him up, just do it, go granny. But yeah, there's so many great characters in this movie. I will say it's probably one of, like, I've only seen a few South Korean films, and this is personally a really good one. I really enjoyed this one. So yeah, like, and it was all obviously shot in South Korea. The train scenes are great. It's hard to kind of tell how they shot it, because it's funny, because there's a couple moments in this film where, one, the trains look like an airplane, so, it kind of looks like a passenger plane, and I guess that's how Korean trains are. But on top of that, one of the biggest things I was saying the whole time, because each set of zombies are always coming closer to the characters, and they step on one car to another, and I think, I asked Lunachi this, I'm like, couldn't you just uncouple the cars like a normal train? But then she said, apparently, South Korean trains, they don't have coupling. They're all one solid piece, which I'm like, that can't be. I mean, even the Toronto subway system, as shitty as it is right now, the north-southbound trains, they're connected, but there are ways to uncouple them. So, it's not entirely impossible to uncouple a train like that. So I always thought, why don't you just uncouple the train? That would be the easiest way to get around this. But you have things like zombies flying on helicopters and jumping down into other places that are infected. And in terms of the virus and everything, it only takes a few seconds to get going. Like, you literally turn into a White Walker in this film. And funny enough, like, this is happening we're watching this at the same time the China bat virus is going around. Which, can I just bring up, how the fuck is it that when normal people eat bats, they get this terrible virus, yet when Ozzy Osbourne eats a bat, all he gets is a little bit of Michael J. Fox syndrome. All he gets is Parkinson's. Like, that doesn't seem fair. God damn it, Ozzy! I mean, I love Ozzy. I love Ozzy. I like Michael J. Fox, but that's to the point. I just want to make a terrible joke. But anyway, so, yeah, like, I overall enjoyed this film, and Lunachi said there is a second one coming, so they're making a sequel, and I'm kind of wanting to see where it goes from here, if they're going to have the same characters. The ending will leave you tear-jerking, and this is where I think, like, it has a bit of I Am Legend in it, where the ending's gonna make you really tear up and realize what happens to these characters, and it is, honestly, for South Korean actors, who I've never seen before, they do a stellar job in terms of acting and making you believe, shit, nobody's gonna make this movie. But yeah, so it's an enjoyable film, nonetheless. I don't know how long this review is going for, but I just figured I'd get something out there because I did want to discuss this film. Unfortunately, Lunachi is not here with me. She had to go back to Toronto. But anyway, yeah, Train to Busan, I liked it. It's a good, suspenseful film. It's got great characters. The zombie effects are fantastic. The ending leaves you tear-jerking. And it's just overall a great apocalyptic zombie movie. I mean, again, I'm not a big fan of the genre, but this is one I could probably stick on and enjoy. It's up there with Brain Dead as probably some of my personal favorites. I have yet to see Dawn of the Dead. I know Nick Jackson. I have to see the rest of the Dead series. But the first Night of the Living Dead I thought was just kind of at the time, I get film history-wise why it's important, but for me, I always found it a little boring. But I do enjoy it for what it is. But for me, my personal favorite zombie movie will always be Brain Dead, because that movie is a fucked up, demented, drug-inducing masterpiece. Which, Jackson, can you make another one of those? Can you make another zombie movies, make, like, Brain Dead 2, and make it more extreme? No CGI, just make it more of the same? Like, fuck, that'd be great. But yeah, so yeah, Train to Busan, I'd give about maybe an 8.5, a 9.5 out of 10. It's kind of in the middle there. But overall, I had a really fun time with this, and it's on Netflix. If you want to check it out, it's there. But of course, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Train to Busan? Let me know in the comments section below, and also let me know if you want me to talk about the first episode of The Witcher as an opening night, because I watched that as well, and I actually really enjoyed it, and I want to watch the rest of the show. So obviously, there's that. Also, don't forget to support us on Patreon. Just $1 or more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. And on top of that, we got the Inuyasha vlogs going on there, and your funds will help go towards a fan film. And also, please, guys, this was requested by Lunichi Bunny. Please go check out her YouTube channel. She just started. Go check out her Patreon. She would really appreciate the support, guys. Please do. I'll leave it all down below. So, until the next video, guys, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, and enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking zombies on this motherfucking train! Now bust open a seatbelt! I don't remember the rest of the motherfucking line. See you later.